Barakate Howell, Barakate Hawashai. This is Huwak Ban Yasharala. And I'm here to talk about these tensions between countries that's going to lead up to World War III. And the U.S. begins deploying missile defense system in South Korea. They have a defense system, see right there, they call it the THAAD. The Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System is designed to protect against threats from North Korea. And it has a bunch of missiles that they shoot at a nuke to bring it down when it's in its finishing stages. This is what the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System does. Shoots down short and medium range ballistic missiles in the terminal phase of their flight. So that means right before impact. And it uses hit-to-kill technology where kinetic energy destroys the incoming warhead. Has a range of 200 kilometers and can reach an altitude of 150 kilometers. And they already use it right here. It has a little display of how it works. From 1 to 4 and 5. The first step is an enemy missile launcher. They launch their missile, and then because they have all kinds of defenses for this, and this is part of the defense for the ballistic missiles. And step 2 is the THAAD radar system detects the launch, which is relayed to command and control. So first they shoot the missile, and then the radar truck picks it up on its sensors, sends the information to a second truck, which is command and control. And then the fourth step is the interceptor missile is fired at the enemy projectile. And step 5 is the enemy projectile is destroyed in the terminal phase of flight. At least that's what they're saying. And I got a Revelation 9 and 17. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire, smoke, and brimstone. So those are the missiles. And these are steps to war. And everybody's going to start shooting those missiles off. And here's it shows the range of the North Korean missiles. And then they have missile names: Nudong, Musadong, Taepodong, and Taepodong 2. They all have different ranges from 1 to 4. The first one is it's just a small area, and on the map it's in Korea, North Korea. It can reach Japan, and they already shot 4 test missiles towards the Sea of Japan, which is an act of war. It can hit. They wouldn't hit China, but it was within their range. But their target would be Japan and some of those other islands around there, and that would be Nodong. 1,300 kilometers. Number 2 is Taepodong 1, and that just extends a little bit further. which would involve Mongolia and the southern part of Russia, more islands. But there's Navy ships over there. The U.S. and the Allies have Navy ships around there, so that's where their targets would be, because it's mostly covering the ocean. The third missile they have is Musudan, which is 4,000 kilometers, and that just further extends out to the ocean, and they're North Korea's allied countries. I think Vietnam's in there. You know, it further reaches, but the one that's got my attention is Tae Podong 2, 8,000 kilometers, and it could reach the U.S., the West Coast, Alaska, Canada. Well, not the West Coast. A little bit of the. It doesn't have the West Coast in it, but it'll reach Alaska. I can't see the other side of it. That's pretty far. Let's see what else. And they're using North Korea is using solid propellant rockets, which are just faster to launch because it's mostly gunpowder. A solid propellant rocket, or solid rocket, is a rocket with the rocket engine that uses solid propellant fuel oxidizer. The earliest rockets were solid fuel rockets powered by gunpowder. They were used in warfare by the Chinese, Indians, Mongols, and Persians as early as the 13th century. All rockets used some form of solid or powdered propellant up until 20th century, when liquid propellant rockets offered more efficient and controllable alternatives. Solid rockets are still used today in model rockets and on larger applications for their simplicity and reliability. Since solid fuel rockets can remain in storage for long periods and then reliably launch on short notice, they have been frequently used in military applications such as missiles. And they were easier to shoot because they could put them in storage. They could make a whole bunch and put them in, so-called storage. But everybody's gonna start shooting off those missiles pretty soon. Alright. And it's just giving you descriptions of the war plans. Alright. But they're gonna launch those missiles. And I'm going to close with this. Revelation 9 and 18. By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. That's the result of those nuclear fire missiles. Shalom.